Hey, this is Origin watching Heavymetal.dk.
Heavymetal.dk.
What's so great about
Bunk
it?
beds in the venue.
Bunk beds.
We've got bunk beds in the venue. They fed us. We can do a tour over here that requires minimal travel, and like we get to come to this venue, and there's a shower in the venue. There's bunk beds in the venue, and they fed us, and we just kind of sit here and relax in this big nice room, and then we go get on stage. It's little things like that that we would consider so great about playing Europe. Sometimes it's just that little thing. The fans are great too.
You just get bored with monochromatic money. You just want different sizes and colors. It's fascinating to us because we all have OCD and we're a little bit of Asperger's-y, so we just want shiny things with old-timey heroes on them, I imagine. Who's on your money? Is it
Wolverine.
Wolverine's on the money? Funniest or weirdest? I'm gonna close this door really quick.
Close the door. Funniest or
Played in a
weirdest?
Chuck E. Cheese, like in America. It's like a kids' pizza place.
Oh, the Mexican restaurants are always nice.
Yeah, we played at a
A Mexican restaurant in Canada.
We played a bowling alley in Chicago. Gosh.
We played somebody's back patio, and they fed us little triangles of peanut butter and jelly. Way back in the old days.
Yeah, we did.
Somebody's backyard.
We did some like Knights of Columbus or Granges.
Done a chicken coop or two in our days.
Chicken coop.
Played in a barn before. Played some fields. We played everywhere from arenas to laundry bar. Laundry bar. We played a laundry bar before. Wherever they put us, we
played in a radio station once.
Yeah.
Twice. Actually, those were fun.
have instrument. We'll play.
It's not uncommon. Most touring bands go through this, have the same stories of bowling alleys and chicken coops, but yeah, it's just kind of more or less rites of passage. You have to do it, or else you ain't hard. It's a hard world if you're not playing in a bowling alley.
Oh yes, it is a hard one, Jason.
Yes, it is. So, I don't know. I think the tiniest venue I think I've ever played, Switzerland.
Belgium.
We've definitely played venues that seemed like they couldn't fit more than 20 people, that they could cram 150 in somehow. And those are fun. But, what is it? Delamont. Delamont in Switzerland, I think, was the tiniest, where it's basically from here to where the wall is. Somehow fit 150 people in.
Yeah, we couldn't fit all the gear on stage. Probably 20 cap. There was maybe 100 people in there, and they were all smoking.
And those are the ones you remember. Those are the fun ones. You can play the same, well taken care of venue where people kiss your ass and do everything for you 100 times in a row and not remember what country you were even in. But you remember the 20 people cap fitting 150 crazy Swiss people in it. So those are the ones you take away.
Oh, I want to say when we played on a boat and the singer Napalm Death watched our set, that was a highlight for me.
He didn't watch our set. He also stage dove and crowd surfed and went bananas. Thank you, Barney. Yeah.
Unbeknownst to us, he was front row center the entire time. At a show that we had written off, we were just like, this is going to be terrible. It was the second show of the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise, and we were a little disheartened with our first one. So second one rolled around, we all just they get what they get. And it turned out to be amazing, one of the best shows ever. And Barney had a haircut that made him look like a 14-year-old boy that I didn't recognize him at all. And he was in front row center. And people stage diving, crowd surfing on top of him, and completely didn't recognize him. It's not a lie that we sent out a song to Napalm Death as he was just in there in the middle watching us, so I looked like a sad fanboy, but he didn't know he was there.
We have a few songs that we don't play live because yeah, sometimes it doesn't seem to go over live. Like we have a handful of songs that we could play that people just kind of stare at us like, well, what is that about? And you know, sometimes it doesn't really matter how, like, it can be really fast and technical, but it's also extremely loud, in the venue, and sometimes it just doesn't translate over. So we always have like a dozen songs, and we always have to go through and look at what songs are going to be strictly album based and what songs are going to play live. And a lot of people say that if you're going to write a song, you better be prepared to play it live. And I think we can play all of our stuff live without much trouble, but it's like, how much of it do you just want to torture people with? Like why do you have to play that live? I want to hear the cool song with the part where I can nod my head to. So there's just some mentality about that, I guess.
Every band's got their Rain and Bloods.
Yeah, it's just general consensus of what makes the set flow and what makes it. I mean, I have my personal favorites, but I also feel like a lot of our set is based on what the fans like, but also, there's some things that just don't carry over as well live.
It gets weird up at album 7 because we have, songs from the first 2 or 3 records that people still want to hear, but it's hard to represent the entire catalog when you get up in albums 7 and 8. Because then you really start looking around, and then you start ditching songs that have been fan favorites forever, and you're like, all of a sudden we're going to not play this song anymore. So that's kind of a strange space to be in, and we're kind of fiddling with that right about now. I think next album is going to be really difficult to get rid of some certain songs that, like, for instance, maybe 2 albums ago we would always play Implosion of Eternity, and then that song went away after a while to make room for another song, and it's just weird that like, we could get on stage and play that thing tomorrow. It would make perfect sense, but
it ends up being the continual problem of bands that keep putting out music. We are the ones that hear it 30 times in a row, whereas fans may want to hear Implosion of Eternity because they get to hear it once a year when we come through. We have to suffer with, so it's that balance too of picking which ones we can deal with playing every night without being totally burned out on it. So, and we obviously, you like your new stuff, you want to keep it fresh and everything like that.
And you want to present who's in the band instead of playing songs that we're not even on that label anymore. Members aren't even on that song anymore.
Perfect.
God damn perfect. We just want to keep moving forward, I was like, I mean, the initial response was good. It seems like the people still like it. I'm happy with it. I'm rather focused on the future than the past. I mean, obviously, it kind of dictates how I'll write somewhat. What worked, what didn't work, but I mean, it's always going to have the origin type sound, and then there'll be a couple twists and turns that just to throw a curveball on what people expect.
maybe we'll do a grindcore song this time.
Oh yeah, grindcore song.
Oh, the quadruple grindcore thread. Nice. I mean,
It's written by the bass player.
we don't write as much songs about space as we let it out to be, as our reputation gives us.
It's a theme than a gimmick.
It's more of a theme than a gimmick. Yeah, that's how we can avoid that whole gimmick label. But it's just, I don't know. Thematically, it's whatever nerdy bullshit we're into at the time, I guess. Whatever. For the last 2 albums, at least, that have been mostly me. It's just, I don't know, the last album was all about Dune, and that's, I don't know if I have anything else to say about it. It's all
There was a lot
basically
of
what it
Dune
was.
on this record, and the
And,
previous record there was a bunch of, Blood Meridian, right? And that's not even space-oriented.
And any kind of philosophy or even history or science that we come across that interests us at the time, it's not as exciting as it sounds. Just whatever fills the space.
Planet
Whatever
explode, space go crazy.
Yeah, basically. Whatever, multi-syllabic word fits in the process. Read it, figure it out for yourself. I don't remember saying that, but it's true. And there is a 45-page dissertation on dissecting the latest album, Unparalleled Universe, and it's I mean, from what I've read of it, it is slightly, I don't know, brain collapsing. It's far beyond my level of comprehension, and I wrote the album, so he discovered things that I had no idea I meant, and I'm glad I did. And I don't know, I've been considering printing it and having it available at the merch table for sale, so maybe in the future.
Leather-bound volume.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and it's, like I said, 45 pages of just, I don't even know how much of it is about the actual album, as it just delves into every realm of philosophy and hard science and nonsense. We have about 3 weeks left in Europe with fests and everything like that, and dates in between, Brutal Assault, Summer Breeze, all that stuff. And then we're home for about a week and a half.
And go to Japan.
We go to Japan for
4 days.
4 shows. And then I think our 2018 run might be coming to a close. We did Europe twice, we did the States. We're just waiting on whatever next step will be presented to us. So yeah, that's about it. I didn't study. I didn't learn my token Danish phrase. Tak. There you go.
We're here to celebrate the birthplace of Lars Ulrich.
Or rue the birthplace of Lars Ulrich.
Why would you rue the birthplace
I
of
don't know. Do you guys rue the birthplace of Lars Ulrich, or do you celebrate the birthplace of Lars Ulrich? Oh, you celebrate. Okay. So yeah, Lars Ulrich, your national hero, and Beowulf. That's all I know.
And Wolverine. Salami and vegetables.